one of the big stories that we saw was kind of this, I guess, move forward by a number of the leading e-commerce sites. Obviously, Asia Pacific, it leads the world when it comes to online retail. And so, most people would think that then, generally the online retail sites have nowhere to go but up here, and that, they would all do well. And we certainly saw that with the big players, and that's Amazon, and that's also Alibaba, and both in terms of kind of, Taobao, but also in terms of Lazada, which it has a big investment in. So those have all moved up. On the other hand, a lot of the other ones, eBay, Rakuten, Flipkart, Zalora, Q10, and when we get down to kind of some of the other more regional ones, we're actually not seeing, we're seeing them drop. And so it's not necessarily the case that kind of all these platforms are going up. So I sort of looked at that a little bit. What is Amazon doing right? What most people are telling us, and the experts, and even kind of consumers by word of mouth, everyone likes Amazon's huge array of products, and if they can get a lot of those SKUs, the SKUs that are all the different products that are come from the U.S. and other places, delivered to Asia, and they have kind of access to all of that, Amazon can bring that, and others can't. The question is sometimes, is there a bit of a hiccup in doing that? So this year, Amazon pushed into a couple more markets. They moved into Singapore and Australia. Both launches had some hiccups, but now in Australia, we're seeing kind of a bit of a problem around that, just in terms of tax issues in Australia. And so as a result, Amazon's basically kind of not letting people kind of go through the US site, keeping everyone in that market, and that stands to see whether or not they'll be as successful there. With Singapore, bringing in, once they've kind of brought in the Prime service, that kind of opened up a lot more access to shipping based on kind of a minimum order from elsewhere, as well as kind of a lot of the kind of video and media products that Amazon has. So that was kind of really successful there. What Amazon also does really well, according to one person I talked to, Naveen Mishra at Frost & Sullivan in KL, he was saying that a lot of people just don't notice it, but they invest so much in cloud computing, and the difference is when you type in something and you're searching for a product, you get that instantly. Everything pops up, everything just goes much faster, and people are just like it rather than sitting and waiting, and it makes a difference. So some things that Amazon's doing really great. The biggest challenge, most say, is just to localize in this region. So it's a matter of kind of catering more to local tastes, sourcing more products here. That's a bit of their challenge. Lazada, on the other hand, does that well. And now, especially with Alibaba, investing in it, we're also seeing more access to Chinese brands coming through. So Lazada does that well. They also partner with local governments and create logistics hubs really, really well. So they're doing a kind of a really good job on that end. They're also, like, as most Chinese companies do really well with mobile, because everything tends to be mobile first. Again, kind of Lazada has a really good mobile product, and that's something else that will keep them in good stead, along with Alibaba's deep pockets, of course. So they're, what many are saying is that this industry is going to go through kind of ups and downs, but those with the kind of the deep pockets to ride it out will be okay. If many of these kind of smaller sites might not be. I think the interesting part we'll see with kind of some of the other sites is what's happening with Flipkart in India, because now that Walmart has taken a majority stake, they needed a big partner to compete with Amazon, and they have that. So it's few see much expansion outside of India, but still that market is so huge, and they have real potential maybe to to knock Amazon back a bit there. So that's something that we'll be watching for next year for sure.
Yeah.